Hi, Sam. Welcome back. It's been a long time.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
still not seeing you in person. It's still on a screen, but I guess we're getting there.
yeah.
Can you just take us through what you went through last year, personally and collectively as a team to have to deal with the injury that you dealt with, dealing with COVID and all the uncertainties and how that was such a strange season, and then all the compounding injuries that just kept coming on your team. Just sort of take us through last season and what's your mentality right now? I'm assuming that you are pretty hungry to get out there.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously last season was an interesting one, not just for us, but all of college basketball. We dealt with a lot of injuries ourselves. Some guys, Chris, me, and Rod, all out for the entire season. Unfortunately, it was very difficult. But then a lot of nagging injuries as well for other guys on the team. Some guys set out a few games, some a lot longer than that. But obviously, when you have that adversity, it's very difficult. It's not easy to compete at your highest level and be the best that you can be when you have all these guys out and whatnot. Like for the last couple of years, actually, like the injuries themselves, it hasn't allowed us to be going up and down in practice 5-on-5. We've only had like seven scholarship guys practicing at once, but going into this year, it's a lot nicer. We have 13 guys, out there at practice. We finally have subs during our scrimmages at practice, and it's good to be going up and down, getting that kind of chemistry going as well. Something we've kind of been not being able to build on for the last couple of years. So it's really nice. And obviously with COVID last year, everything was difficult. It kind of felt weird having everything separated at all times. In our locker room, we had to like split it up, so not everyone could be in the locker room at once. So that was also a weird environment as well. And but I think we handled it very well. I think we're one of the very few teams in the country that didn't have a single positive case on the team. So that was very good. And yeah, looking forward to this season. As you said, like we're very hungry, very excited to get out there. So yeah, it's going to be a good one.
How do you feel personally after sitting out a year? What kind of shape are you in?
No, I'm ready to get out there. It's had a few guys on the team who've had the unfortunate experience of having to sit out a season or two, and I think we all have that same mindset going into this into the next one. Is just like just wanting to get back out there and be the best that you can be. I feel like the year that I had off, though, even though I wasn't able to be out there, I probably learned more than I could have ever asked to from the coaches. I had Adam Fisher, who's not here anymore, but at the end of each game, he would ask me to give him a report on what I saw and whatnot. So I'd type that out, send it to him. He would show it to Coach Al and stuff. And by doing that, I was just learning more stuff about the game that I wasn't viewing as a player, like looking at it from a coach's perspective. That's what I was able to do. So I feel like that helped me a lot. And I'm trying to apply that now in practice and on the court, just helping myself build my own IQ. And I think that's a huge part of the game. So, but again, sitting out for a whole year when you're a basketball player, you got that urge. You just want to get out there. It's like an itch. So I'm very excited, and I'm really looking for that first game.
We're going to Matt Shodell from Kane Sport. Matt.
Hey, Sam. I don't want to harp on the injury, but I was hoping to get a couple more details, sort of maybe how tough was the rehab? Are you a better player than you were before? Sometimes players come back and, it takes a while to get your touch back, your shooting touch and all that. Can you sort of talk about where you're at and how you rehabbed and how that process went?
Yeah, so it's called a Liz Frank injury. So basically the ligament that holds my big toe and the second toe together, basically that snapped. And so the recovery for that's about 9 months, and the rehab for the first 6 months. So you really can't do anything. You're just, you have 2 surgeries and you got hardware in your foot. And so you're basically just kind of stuck to a chair really. But during that time, I was able to work with Coach Al a lot and just work on the small mechanics on my jump shot, just focusing on the little things. And I feel like doing that my own personal jump shot, like I've gotten a lot better. I'm shooting probably the best I've shot in practice and whatnot since I've been here. And again, talking about like the IQ side, being able to sit down and just view the game from a different perspective, I feel like that's opened my game up a lot more. And also, you know, having guys on this team getting older and growing as well, like it's just helped the dynamic of the team. We're moving the ball like really well in practice, especially since the official practice started. It's just been really nice to have all these guys building chemistry, and yeah.
Go back to Michelle Kaufman from the Miami.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you with, you know, there was that period last year when the transfer portal just was going insane, and, you know, every team was basically trading 5 players for 5 players, and you guys had a bunch of players leave, but then you had other guys come in. And then when Isaiah and Cam decided to come back, what did that do for the team chemistry, you think, to have those 2 guys come back to the group, you know, because you had lost some veteran players, to have those 2 guys come back in? And I guess the final part of my question is, when you have so much turnover, what is the team chemistry like right now? Are there leaders that have emerged? Do you feel like the team has already gelled? Because there really are a lot of new faces.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, a person like Cam and Isaiah, I think the process that they went through was like very important for them. They got to hear from guys in the NBA about their personal game, and they got to experience that. And I feel like that was huge for them. But obviously them coming back, that's amazing for us. And I know the energy around the office when those 2 announced that they were coming back to the team, it was just really high, and that was just awesome to hear. And ever since that, you know, well, everyone really, but those 2 especially, you know, they've been working super hard. Like, you know, they got this extra chip on their shoulder now after going through that experience and coming back. And for a lot of us right now, it's, you know, it's our last chance, and we really recognize that, and we want to do the best that we can do to get this team back to where it needs to be, and that's, you know, in the tournament and winning games. And talking about the chemistry and having like new guys and whatnot, I feel like this team, since day one, really, we've gelled really well together. In the locker room, it's always laughter, always talking. It's never like a dull moment or anything like that. So like that's obviously a really nice, I won't say difference, but like, I don't know, new energy kind of, because obviously with COVID and stuff and all that separation, we didn't really have that the last year. So it's really nice to have that again. And I think going forward, that's just going to help us do what we want to do for the season.
Anything else for Sam?
I have one more. Can you talk about Charlie Moore, what you've seen in him? I mean, I think there's a lot of intrigue about him because, you know, this is his 4th team, and he's played at some really big programs, and he's, you know, comes in with a lot of acclaim. What have you seen from him, you know, on and off the court?
Yeah, Charlie's great. I love playing with him. He's a great point guard, and he's a real pass first guy. He's got a very high IQ and understanding for the game. So just in practice, you know, he helps move the ball well. He helps get the offense going, and it's really well, you know, going really well. And he's a great guy off the court as well, always talking. He's one of our leaders on the team right now. And yeah, he's just doing an amazing job and bringing a lot of energy to the team this year.
So he's already emerged as a leader, even though he's new.
Oh yeah, for sure. Since day one, you know, always talking, making sure guys know what they're meant to do, when they're supposed to do it. And yeah, he's just been amazing for us.